In this camp, Birkenau, B stands for Birkenau, A stands for Auschwitz. This camp, they killed 1.5 million people. You'll never see a number more than 6,000. That stops. Auschwitz, you can find a number 150, 160,000. Not in Birkenau. Because everybody that came there went into the gas chambers. The smoke and the flames were coming out from the chimney 24 hours a day without a stop. And after 48 hours, they didn't get what they wanted, right? They came in to our barrack where we were, took out 69 boys. They went up and smoked, they killed them. A week later after that, they took another 35. They killed them. Meanwhile, they needed labor to work in the fields because used to kill everybody there. And it was time to harvesting too. Didn't have enough. And they took us out from Birkenau, and they shipped us to a camp called Brunner concentration camp. That was part of Auschwitz, but it was a sub-camp. That's where the people used to go to work. But we were there, okay, in December, as the Russians were coming closer to the Auschwitz, that area there, they put us in a death march. And over there it gets cold. And the only thing we had is the pajamas and wooden shoes. And they took out like 10,000 people in the death march. And while you were walking, you saw that anybody who couldn't walk fell out, they were killed on the spot. You walked and all over were dead bodies laying there. And people were on the death march for almost a month. And I said to myself, I must not give up, because came to a time, you just couldn't take it. We didn't get no food. We didn't get no water. Taste. The only water we got, it used to snow there. We used to pick up the snow from the ground and put it in our mouth for water. And maybe every second day, every third day, we used to get a couple of slices of bread. That was it. One day, we came to a place, there were trains, boxcars waiting for us, and they put us in the open back in the trains. And on January 21st, 1945, we arrived in Buchenwald. They put us again in Buchenwald with Russian prisoners of war. They were treated better and they got better rations, so we had a little extra food. They saw to it that we would get a little extra food. And from January till April 1945, we were there in the little camp, it was called, Block 66. We also had a German. He was a political prisoner. He was against Hitler. He was in concentration camp from 1936 because he was against Hitler. He also took care of the boys. He wanted to make sure that we survive and get better treatment. And he took good care of us. Wouldn't be for him and the Russian soldiers, I wouldn't be here. But I guess my destiny was to survive.
By the time the war ended and the camps were liberated, Saul Lurie was among the 2% of surviving Lithuanian Jews. He had spent the past 4 years of his childhood between 6 different concentration camps and experienced and witnessed horrors that seem unimaginable to us today. But despite all odds, Saul Lurie did survive. And on April 11th, his 15th birthday, he finally won his freedom. Do you remember the day the camp was liberated?
It was April 11, 1945. And I was looking out the cracks, we heard shooting there and bombing and things like that, And I was looking out to the crack of the barrack. I saw a tank with a star on it. And then it disappeared. And about 50 minutes later, we heard a commotion in the camp. And one man came running in and says, "We are free. The Americans are here." And that was April 11, 1945, exactly 3:30 in the afternoon. We went back to Buchenwald. The clock has stopped at 3:30. Now after liberation, April 11, we were free. We didn't have no family. We were orphans, didn't know what to do with us. So they decided they're going to try and put us in an orphanage. So 420 of us went to France in the orphanage. Some went to Switzerland, some went to different countries, 420 of us. I didn't find out that my father and my 3 brothers survived till June of 1946. Went to the orphanage, and doctors and psychiatrists examined us. And they came to the conclusion that the most humane thing would be to take all the 420 of us and put us into a mental institution. Because what we went through, the life that we lived, we are mentally damaged. And the best thing would be in a mental institution. But we proved them all wrong. One became the Nobel Prize winner, Elie Wiesel. One of them became the chief rabbi of Israel, Rabbi Lau. And the survivors that are still alive, most of us, we teach to love, not to hate. We became professors, that's what I call myself. To love, not to hate. And that was our destiny.
When you hear so many stories about how close you got to death, how close you came to being killed or sent somewhere else, it really is incredible. You think about perhaps fate or divine intervention or whatever you believe, but do you ever ask yourself why?
Oh yeah, I believe one thing. I believe God took the Holocaust survivors. See, I call myself a miracle man. To go through what I went through and be here to talk about it is a miracle. You know what I tell people? I says, God took us Holocaust survivors, took us to hell, and showed us what hell looks like. And then he says, now you go back and tell the people and educate the people what hell looks like, and then tell them to love and not to hate. And that is my message. The most important thing in my life is to teach people to love, not to hate. It hurts me, believe me, every time I talk about it. It's not easy. But when I think they're good, if I change one child's life, okay, that child could change somebody else's life and become 2, and from 2 could become 4. And we could change the world for a better place to live in, to a loving place instead of hate. And that's why I do it.
Well, Mr. Lurie, you are a magic man. You are a miracle. And hopefully, the more people you tell your story to, we will avoid such atrocities in the future. Thank you for sharing your story.
You're quite welcome.